The 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬 Conference 2026 is here. Western Region, are you ready? Join us on Thursday, 26 March 2026 at the prestigious Western Serene Atlantic Hotel in Takoradi for the 5th edition of the 𝐀𝐝𝐴𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬 Conference. This year's theme, authentic employer branding, purpose, people, and public trust. Hear from seasoned industry leaders including Felicia Opoku-Felicia, Head of HR and Administration, Taka Ghana, Kwame Afre, HR Manager, Talu Ghana Limited, and Mami 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 Minister, Honorable Joseph Nelson, and our special guest of honor, Nana Kobena Nketia V, Omanhinin of Isikado, traditional area and president of the Western Regional House of Chiefs. Are you a CEO, HR professional, business owner, marketing or branding executive, corporate communication executive, or corporate leader? Then this conference is for you. Registration is open. In-person participation, 1,550 Ghana cedis. Virtual participation, 1,250 Ghana cedis. To register, visit HR Conference at 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐻 or call 0591405555. Transform your workplace, strengthen your people strategy, and lead with impact. The SEDAT HR Conference 2026 is brought to you by SEDAT Consult Limited in partnership with Western Serene Atlantic Hotel, Good News FM, Cambridge College of Excellence, Revia, My Health Co, HR Network Africa, and SHRP. Limited seats are available. Register today. See you there.
Hello, good afternoon. Distinguished HR professionals and business leaders, depending on where you are watching from, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, I'd like to say you are welcome to this edition of SEDAT HR Digest. My name is Winifred Galsen, and my co-host is... Okay, my co-host is Emmanuel Duncan. He's having a little bit of a technical challenge. So, okay, Emmanuel is in. Emmanuel. Okay, my co-host is Emmanuel Duncan, so he's having a bit of a technical challenge, so he'll come in and address us all. So if you can hear us clearly, can you state in the comment section where, confirm from the chat room where, and let us know where you are joining us from for us to acknowledge you. So you could say like me, Winifred from Accra. So if you're in the chat room, just let us know. I'm Winifred from Accra. So let us know where you are from, whether on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Please share the please share the stream with your colleagues in the networks of all the groups that the HR professional groups that you are. Follow us on our social media pages and join the Sadat HR Digest community for continuous learning and insights. Sadat HR, I'll briefly tell you what Sadat HR is all about. Sadat HR is Sadat Consult provides HR services, advisory, outsourcing, talent acquisition, management, staff outsourcing, payroll outsourcing, compensation and benefits management, employee engagement, training and development, recruitment and executive search, event management, ushering services. For more information, contact Sadat Consult on 059 140 or 0244 629247. The contacts again 059 140 5555 or 0244 629247. Please let us know where you are from. I'm Winifred from Accra. So wherever you are in the comment section that you joined from Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, kindly let us know where you are from. My co-host is Emmanuel Duncan. Emmanuel, please introduce yourself. Emmanuel, please introduce yourself. Okay, so today's topic is, today we have a lovely guest. You all be surprised, but she's really a big person in the HR industry. I personally follow her keenly over all those years. I have just a long but short experience, but she's somebody I really, really follow and listen to. We have her for today, and we were talking. The personality for today is Dr. Stella Agyenim Boateng. She's the vice chairman of the Public Service Commission, who joins the conversation to share practical reflection on how strategic relationships have shaped her career trajectory and leadership impacts. If you are intentional about career growth, stakeholder engagement, and building networks that create opportunities, and the sections provided for and the sections this section provides perspective wealth engaging. The topic for today is how relationships have shaped my career. The topic for today, how relationships have shaped my career. The guest for today is Dr. Stella I, Agyenim Boateng, and the HR Digest episode is 159. 159. Okay, so I'd like to invite my guest over, Dr. Stella. Mommy.
Good afternoon, Winifred, and good afternoon, everybody.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, and how are you
doing?
too?
By God's grace. So,
By
Mommy,
God's grace, I'm well.
we are very delighted to have you. I know you have busy schedules, and this is your private time on Sundays, but you've decided to have 1 hour with us, and we are very grateful. So you can go ahead with your 30 minutes presentation, then we come in with a Q&A. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone who is listening and who has joined us from whichever part of the globe. And just to recap, my name, Winnie. So the last name is Agyenim Boateng. Yes, I know you are struggling a bit. I don't know, but so I can understand. All right. So basically, this afternoon we are going to talk about relationship, and I'm sure that the whole conversation is going to be around how relationship has shaped my career, which is a very interesting topic. But for the next 30 minutes or so, I'll just want to talk basically about networking, which is the essence of relationship, right? And I'm trying to look at networking as the new currency, as we say today. And why do we consider networking as the new currency? And what is that whole? Why do we even need to network? What are the benefits? And I'm sure that as we get into the Q&A, we will all appreciate and understand why networking is important, has always been important, is important today, and will be important tomorrow. And so, networking as the new currency, I would have loved to share my slides, but it looks like I'm also having some technical challenges, and therefore, I'll just give you a quick run through what I intend sharing with you. And so, when we talk about networking, and as I said, because today it is that new currency, we need to start looking at who and what kind of person would you call an all-time best fit for whether it is a role at the workplace or in social circles or anywhere else. And because we are HR people mostly, and we are talking about people in this conversation, let us situate the whole conversation around somebody, around the people, so around the employees, around the corporate, within the corporate context and within the corporate culture. What kind of a person are we looking for? If as HR people, we have the opportunity, which we always do, to bring people on board and understanding the fact that, the talent war is still ongoing, and within corporate space, it is not so much about, only your systems. It's not about your policies. It's not just about the digital, applications. Yes, all those play a role, but the most critical role is played by the human being, the employee, who sits at the center of an organization, and for that matter, the employer and any human being. And that's why I like to use, human being, any human being at all that you bring. And so the question that I'm asking, when we look at the kind of people that we want to have in our working space and the kind of person you need to be able to, impact your own career and progress your own career. So the question is, if we are scouting for somebody, a talent, what kind of person are you going to look for? And if somebody is scouting for the right fit for an organization, am I going to be that kind of right fit for the people? For the organization, for the institution, for the company, whoever. And so, there are people who are book smart. They are very intelligent. When it comes to, call it academics, and anything that has to do typically with the cognitive, mind. But there are those people, but some of those book smart people are socially bankrupt. So they are smart in terms of books, in terms of academics, but they cannot socialize. They are totally bankrupt, as saying there's little or nothing that they can do to create and sustain relationship. You have that kind of person. My question is, would that person be the best fit for you when you are looking for, somebody to work with you, or you yourself? I think this conversation, we need to also even start looking at ourselves. Who are you? Are you somebody who is book smart but socially bankrupt? And do you think you'll be the right fit for the world of work today? Again, there are those people who are also book bankrupt. When it comes to, smartness in terms of being analytical, academic, and, trying to analyze issues and bring ideas and opinions on the board. Some of them, there are people who are book bankrupt, but they are and they are socially bankrupt as well. So both ways. They don't just fly. They know next to nothing when it comes to the real stuff, the technical stuff of the job, and they can't also connect. They can't build relationships. There are those who are also. So the question is, if you are that kind, are you sure any organization is going to be interested in you? And there are also those who are book bankrupt. exactly not, not really great at anything that has to do with the mental analysis of issues, or trying to understand what the real issues are, but they are so socially smart. They are able to build the right relationships. They are able to support other people from the social point of view, and they're able to sustain such relationship. The question is, are you that kind of person, or would you want to employ somebody who is book bankrupt but socially smart? Then there are those who are book smart, smart academically, as I've explained, and socially smart as well. And by all standards, if anybody had the opportunity to pick you or any other person to fit into a role, the most likely person is the one who is both book smart and socially smart. What it means is that we as HR persons, and in fact, ourselves as individuals who are also employees, we are all building our careers, and we are helping others to build their careers. We are helping our organizations to thrive and succeed, and stay afloat in this whole talent space, where talent, as we say, sometimes it's very limited, and we are all kind of chasing after the few talents that are around. And so you always want to build yourself to be somebody who is book smart and socially smart as well. Because if you are not socially smart, your book smartness alone will not be able to carry you anywhere. Neither will your being book smart but socially bankrupt support your career. And so these are the kind of the four critical fit that I want you to look at, and put yourself at the center of that whole scheme to ask, where do you stand? Are you book smart but socially bankrupt? Are you book bankrupt but socially bankrupt at the same time? Are you book bankrupt but socially smart, or you are book smart and socially smart? So, it is important for us to have both the knowledge, the aptitude, the technical skills, as well as the social interventions and social relationships that will make us holistic people. And so if you are talking about holistic people, then you are looking for people who will be effective in the navigation into present day and even into potential social complexities. People who are able to achieve desired outcomes in their own professional and personal growth. And so if you want to be holistic, which is what I recommend, a kind of all-round person, then you actually require a fuller understanding and appreciation of how to cultivate and integrate your social skills for sustainable progress in life. If you are not able to appreciate social skills and integrate those social skills into, your life and your corporate life, your career, your other social relationships, your family relationships, and all that, then you are actually grinding to a halt. And so we need people who are holistic, because in today's world, networking has become so valuable than the very traditional assets that we always, talked about. I mean, for times past, if you want to talk about somebody's wealth, I think that financial wealth is what, one key parameter that people would use. But today, I mean, apart from your financial wealth, apart from, all the college degrees that you have, one fundamental wealth that we measure is your social connections. How sustainable you have created certain social bonds and relationships, and how those can support you in your career. And that is why I started off by saying that the topic, and the way I've coined the topic, is networking being the new currency. So that the currency is not limited just to, the financial strength of an individual. But so long as we are building our careers, then indeed we are looking at a sustainable social relationship. Because you see, that is the springboard that actually propels you in your career, in your professional success, and in everything that you do. Because the world today is thriving on collaboration. The world thrives on human relations, information exchange, and your influence, and the influence that others have on you. When we talk about mentorship, I mean, that is what the kind of relationship that we are we are talking about. So because now it is not just about who you know. And I'm sure that in Ghana, when we talk about who you know, everybody understands it. And immediately we talk about who you know, everybody somehow compute some negative connotation to it. And so it becomes even difficult for people to say that, oh, I know somebody, or, I know this person, or my somebody knows this person, or I'm connected to this person, because we have applied so much negative connotation that whenever you talk about who you know, it is as if there's nothing good out of it. But wait a minute, there's so much good out of it, because if you do not build the right relationships and grow and sustain the relationships, you wouldn't know anybody. And we are all social beings, and that is what really supports our careers. But now, because networking has become that new currency, it is not just about who you know, but it is about who knows you. Because if you know the person, if you know you have a certain, you think that you know and you have a connection, but the person doesn't actually know you, then there is no relationship. And you cannot utilize that relationship, to support or accelerate your progress. And so networking has become that social capital. And when we talk about the social capital, we are talking about, the capital that brings you trust, the capital that brings you reputation, opportunities, resources, and valuable advantages that you can derive from the social connections and the social relationships that you have. And these social, relationships can translate into money, and that is why I said that it is the new currency, because the people the people who know you, the kind of, social network that you build and you progress, your career in, it can directly or indirectly open doors for you. And these doors can support your career growth. And when that happens, obviously, indirectly, there is some financial wealth that comes out of who you become or what you do. And so the social capital that we build, the social relationships that we build, support our financials through the career that we build, as against looking for money by whatever means without building and sustaining your social relationships. So even though the social capital may be intangible, it is so powerful, and sometimes even a more valuable form of wealth that may give you a flood of ideas, resources, and friendship partnerships that money alone cannot buy. Because the ideas that you're able to generate out of your social relationships, those ideas can then become, actuals that will support you to develop your career. And out of that, whatever financial, wealth that you think that you want to equate to success, perhaps, you'll be able to realize in whichever form. And your reputation and, the kind of partnerships and the friendship that you build will be sustainable, more sustainable than talking about just, financial capital as we have known. And having said that, it's important that if I'm trying to connect networking as a currency, then I should be able to also, try to create a linkage between financial currency and networking as a currency. Because what we are working, yes, we are all working because, we want to, at the end of the day, aside the career that we build, the success we talk about, there is some economic, activities that happen as a result of the work that we do, which support you financially, support your family and all that. And so if now we are stressing on relationship and we are stressing on networking, then we should be able, to tell how they are linked. And so, when we talk about financial currency, it's a legal tender that is acceptable. In the same way, social networking currency is also a social tender that is accepted. The people, the circles that you walk in, they become, acceptable, because they become a source of reference for you whenever there is the need for you to use those social relationships as a reference point in building your career, or in getting certain doors open for you, in growing you and supporting you in your career, even through mentorship and all that. Financial currency has, a long-term value. And in the same way, networking currency has a long-term relationship value. because when you sustain the relationship that you have, you are able to use that long term to support your career growth. Again, when you talk about financial currency, it's a medium of monetary exchange. And the same with networking currency, it's a medium of social exchange, which is also, equated to the wealth that you're able to build. Again, financial currency is in demand, but it is scarce. I mean, money is not just thrown out there. We struggle to find it. The same way, quality networking, quality relationship can be scarce. People can be in all kinds of relationships, but the quality of it is what we are talking about, because that is what actually becomes a currency for you. Financial currency, sometimes you have counterfeits exist. The same way networking currency can have fake relationships. Fake relationships exist, and therefore it's important for you to nurture, to maintain, and create the kind of relationship that is born out of trust. And financial currency investment is key. If you want to be wealthy financially, you need to think about investment and how to invest the money that you have. The same way networking currency, you have to invest. And in this case, what are we investing? We are investing our time, we are investing our effort, and we are investing, the goodwill and all that, which then will support us. So, both money and relationships are acceptable societal exchanges. And just like money, meaningful relationships also hold strong values for us. We are able to share ideas, recommendations, references, peer reviews, and we don't just also trust anybody. You need to check on the kind of relationship, probe into the kind of, network or relationship that you get yourself into, so that you are not deceived and taken, advantage of. Because when you're able to do that, then you can improve on your mental health. You can see the value that you place and the value that others place on you. And all these need to be, nurtured and maintained. Financial currency, again, when anybody invests in, financial, investment, you are thinking of return on investment. In the same way, in networking, currency, you are also expecting some return on the relationship that you build. Because when you invest in the network, you are likely to reap the returns of mutual benefit. Again, for financial currency, it provide you easy liquidity when it's needed. That same way, when it is network currency, you are able to access support as quickly as you need it, because you would have nurtured a network that allows you free access to people who can support you when you are in need. Again, financial currency, you deposit. The more you deposit, the more interest you get. And so in networking currency also, the more active you participate in the network, the more visible you become. And obviously, the more acceptable and the more interest that you get, that's in the more benefits that you get out of that. Because you are able to, create a certain network that when you need the support of others, you are able to get it. Financial currency, you acquire knowledge, before you can know even what kind of investment that you have to, portfolio that you have to sign up to. In the same way, in networking currency, you learn from others. And when you learn from others, you acquire knowledge. So the next step that you take in any network, in any relationship, usually it is much better than you started with, because now you have some knowledge. And if you have finance, the fact that you have money does not mean that you continue to overspend. So in networking currency also, you need to be considerate in drawing from others. You must put in, so that when you are drawing from others, you will not feel guilty about doing that. In financial currency, you don't have to boast about what you have. In the same way, networking currency, the fact that you know people does not mean that you go about, throwing tantrums and blowing your horn. I know this person and I know that person and I'm here and I'm with this person. You show some kind of discreet, and out of that, you build trust and you bring value. And so these are some of the, how do I call it, the way we seek networking currency today, the way we seek relationship today. And if it is a currency, then obviously that is the kind of thing, the relationship between even financial currency and networking currency. And obviously it tells you that the relationship is such that when you have networking, good networking, social capital today, you are wealthy, because you'll be able to translate that into your career success and into, all other facets of your life. So what are some of the benefits of these relationships? If if you're a business person, it's a business enabler. The people that you know within your circles are able to sell your business technically to other people, and it expands your horizon. It expands, your space. It tears up all the boundaries, and you're able to build your business. It's a career accelerator. Networking helps to build your career, and it's also a gateway that opens opportunities for you through referrals from people you know, people who know you, people are within the same circle. And it's a solution provider, because out of that, you're able to, get solutions to the challenges that you have. Your visibility becomes more effective because you are able to position yourself properly. You improve your personal brand, and you have easy access to pool of subject matter experts. Thought leadership, growth, personal growth, your business growth, sponsorship, and emotional sustenance are all the kind of supports that you get as a result of good relationship. And then shorter or less learning curve, stressful learning curve, mentorship and coaching opportunities are available, trust and recognition, you get opportunity to showcase your own expertise, and it is a kind of safety net that you are able to work through to be able to get the support that you have. So it influences your experience and your innovation, and it helps enhance your own visibility. You are able to communicate better, and because of the mentorship opportunities, you get a lot of guidance from the network, and you are also able to improve your emotional intelligence and bring value to the table, because your development and your professional growth are all sort of, as it were, guaranteed, because you have the right people around you. Your mental health is improved because when you have challenges, you know the people that you should walk to or you should talk to, because they've created a kind of safety net, and it helps build generational support. Your children's children, will be able to take advantage of this network, especially because you brought some kind of value to it. And effectively, networking helps create a selfless situation, as against people becoming selfish. When you are in the right network and you want to bring value, selflessness is what you create and not selfishness. You start having an attitude of gratitude, because you know that when you give, you receive, and when people also give you, you must show that gratitude. So you are able to take the right steps and get connected, reach out, and then you are able to create all the right boundaries to help you. So it's important to understand that our varied networks and relationships promote, protect, and provide for our holistic well-being, which is what we need to build our careers and sustain successful careers. So our knowledge itself and alone may open the doors for us, but it is the relationship and the network that we build that will actually hold the doors constantly open for us to be able to walk through, in and out anytime, and that becomes the new currency. And so we need to be intentional about building and nurturing and sustaining the right networks and the right relationship, because that is what will really support our career growth and our career journeys for us to be successful. Thank you very much. Hello. Hello.
Yes, please. I can hear you. Thank you very much.
Right.
So you've spoken a lot, but before we come to the Q&A, I'd like to just give some announcements before. So we have Sadat HR conference, which is happening on the 26th of March, where we have the keynote speaker being Honorable Joseph Nelson, and we have the keynote speaker being Honorable Joseph Nelson, and we have the guest speaker being Nana Kwabena Nketia the fifth. We have our CEO, Lady Patricia Abnakisi. We have Mame 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 Felicia Opoku. Sorry, I can't see. It's a bit difficult. So we have them for the 23rd of March, Sadat HR conference, which is happening in Takrady. The fee is 1,550 for people coming in person, which is inclusive of VAT, and we have 1,250 as inclusive of VAT for those who are doing virtual. The venue is at Western Serene Atlantic Hotel, Takrady, and it's happening on Thursday, 26th of March. Now, I'd like to tell you about the upcoming training which we have, which is just this coming week on the 26th and the 26th and 27th. Planning and conducting effective training development is a 2-day training at Sadat Consults. We are having it on the 26th to the 27th of February, which is just this coming weekend. We are having it. And it's going to be done by our facilitator, which is our CEO, Lady Patricia Benakisi. And it's happening at our Sadat Consult conference room. All those interested should hit us up on our social media or wherever our numbers can be found. It's happening at 8:30 to 3:30 each day, and the fee is 2,600 Ghana cedis. I'd like to talk to you about our services. Sadat HR Consult, what our services entails and what we are all about. Sadat Consult, our services are HR support, advisory and outsourcing, talent acquisition management, staff outsourcing, compensation and benefits management, employee engagement, training and development, payroll outsourcing, recruitment and executive search, event management, and ushering services. You can contact us on 0244 629245 or 02591 405555. So please contact us as you see it over there for any of the services that you want us to render on to you. I'd like to come back to the guest speaker. My co-host Emmanuel Duncan can join me. Okay. So, Mami, Emmanuel will start giving the questions and I'll follow up with a follow-up question. So, Emmanuel, you can start up with the first question. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Doc, for such career nuggets. Personally, I've learned a lot from your presentation. I just have 2 questions. And my first question has to do with my name is Emmanuel Duncan, and I'm a data analyst with a background in HR as well. Please, I would like to ask 2 questions. My first question would be, at the early stage of your career, was there someone who comes into ships and the impact that that person had on your life?
Thank you, Emmanuel.
Hello.
If the
Hello,
question
please,
about
I hope you can hear
early,
me.
yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me as well?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Emmanuel, yeah, audible. We can hear you. She's
Hello.
had the question. Yes, she's had the question. She's had the question. Mommy, you can continue. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Right. So I think that the question was basically around anybody in my early career days, but I will even take it far beyond my career days to people who were part of my upbringing as a child through education up until my career, because for me that really formed a very strong foundation of opening me up to some of the things that I do today, or my career itself. Sometimes it takes us quite a long time to understand and to appreciate that those backgrounds that we have always been strong contributors to who we are today. And so I would always talk about my mother, I'll talk about my grandmother, I'll talk about some of my early school teachers. So I remember very, very well how my grandmother, for instance, taught me a lot about culture, because I think those who have listened to me before, I've always said she was a queen mother, and I spent a lot of my young formative years with her. And so culture and the love for people, the respect for people, support for people, and the whole issue of understanding the mental state, your own mental state, to be able to do things that will put you out there to support support others. And so young as 5 years, I was acting plays. I was making recitals. And one key thing that I always remember and I always talk about is the fact that young as I was, if for instance you have to make any recitals in church and you are giving your script or your test, she would always ask me that when I should quickly learn mine and learn that of other people, the other children, whatever test or recitals they have. I never understood that until, as I was growing. She would tell me that, yes, you remember that when you go in and you speak or you recite yours, there could be another child who may have been sick and therefore wasn't able to be there, or, who was intimidated by the crowd, etc. Just quickly step in there and do it for that child so that you support the child. Even though I was a child, she always wanted me to support another child. And for me, all these things, my mother, I went to boarding school very early. At the age of 10, I was already in a boarding school. So letter writing to my mother was one of the key, ways of communicating. And anytime my mother wrote, a letter I wrote a letter to her and she was replying to my letter, I always find 2 letters in that one envelope. And what was it? One was her response to my letter. The other was always correction, my own letter that I had written to her. She will edit, she will correct my spellings, the grammar, and if something else was on, she would just put, even though she was not a teacher, but she would put everything under, like she was a secretary. She would do everything, which means that the next time I'm writing to her, she didn't expect me to make those mistakes again, whether it's spelling mistake or grammatical error or anything. All these things for me really taught me very, well. So when I plunged into career, of course, my teachers, my secondary school teachers, I was a girls prefect at the very, young age at the time. And, it taught me leadership because they believed in me and they thought that those were the things I should be able to do. And I tell you that this influenced my career. So my early career days, in as much as there were people in the businesses that I worked who actually supported me and, gave me the opportunities, I knew that I was coming with a certain strength where, it hadn't been maybe institutionalized or totally structured like at the workplace, but they had strong influence on me. And these things supported my career, in my early days. Yeah. Emmanuel, I don't know if you're okay with that, and if you want to. I cannot hear you, Emmanuel.
Yeah, Emmanuel is having a technical challenge, but he's muted.
Yeah,
Okay, so
muted,
with what you said, I would like to find out from you, how was it like for your early days in the group of, okay, so Emmanuel, continue. I'd like to find out how your early days was like when you were the school prefect, the girls prefect. How was it like leadership for you? Was it something difficult, or did it come naturally to you because of your grandmother or mother responsibility that they held to you in 𝐼SD?
Okay, so as I told you, I had been socialized to be bold in public. So public speaking or, doing things, in public wasn't a real challenge because that is how, I had. So when at that age, I had to be a girls prefect, and in a class where I think I was the youngest, 2 of us were the youngest. Everybody else was, older than us, and I happened to be the girls prefect. Yeah, initially, you would think of, what is it like? Because culturally, again, you are thinking these people are maybe older than me, but I had grown to believe that it is the skill that you bring on board, the value that you bring, and the fact that you need to respect people, irrespective of what position that you hold. You need to appreciate that everybody else has some strength. Everybody else is unique and could have been. But if you are, then you have to, show respect. You have to collaborate with people. So I started leadership right from that stage where I knew and I started to learn more about how to collaborate with people, but how to be strong and am bold enough, to put my best foot forward all the time, and to make sure that, I was strategic about decisions that I had to take even at that young age, and be able to have a fallback position. So a fallback position of people within your, we'll call it network, within your class, within your colleagues who were ready to support you. And so those kind of leadership skills, I brought whatever I knew from home, and then I actually studied the fact that, within the system, I needed to show that respect, teamwork, collaborate with others, but still be able to take bold decisions if I had to, irrespective of my age. So I didn't allow age to be a barrier to me, but I rather used it, to build my leadership skills going forward and the people around me. So those are some of the things that helped me.
Okay, thank you very much. A minute, I'd like to engage the audience. So we have Yajifa. Yeah, you're welcome from Kumasi, as always. She's always present every Sunday. We have Amma Adjoa okay says that excellent delivery, Dr. Stella. Adjoa okay, thank you very much. And we have Ibrahim Aliu Ahassan. You can all be heard. Okay, thank you very much, Ibrahim, for saying you can all be heard. My co-host, Emmanuel, please continue with the questions.
All right, Doc, please, my next question would be, I think it's from your presentation. Please, have you ever relied on a networking to source out for a candidate, whereby after the candidate was being selected, the person had any misconduct in the organization? How did you, if such a thing has happened before, I would like to know how you handle both relationship.
No, please come again. I don't get the question, because I think the question was whether I have sourced for a candidate through my network. Is that the case?
Whether yes, Doc. Yeah, whether you've been able to rely on a network for a candidate, and probably when the person was selected, he or she, engage in a gross misconduct in the organization.
Okay, I get you now. Yes, sourcing from network is very important, and I've done that. There are sometimes certain key skills and experiences that you want in one person, a kind of work profile that really becomes very difficult to just throw out there in the market. And sometimes you want people that we call the plug and play kind of people who walk in today and immediately they know what it is that they have to do. Right. And so when you have such situations, you may do your headhunting, you may do all the other, using all the other recruitment strategy. But one of them, and one important one, is using your network. So you can throw it out there to your network that I need somebody who fits this profile. Either, you throw it out into the whole network, or you work specifically and speak specifically to certain people that have the expertise to help you to get the right person that you are looking for. So the first part of the question, yes, I have used my networks, to bring people on board. But the other part of it is assuming that person came and showed, signs of gross misconduct. The moment you are referred, it has nothing to do with the referrer. The person who referred you or your referee. Okay. Everything that has to do is not to say that because, somebody referred you and therefore you are above the policies and the rules of the game. No, you come through the interview process, you come through the selection. And so if we selected you, it is not so much because you had that opportunity. Perhaps the advantage is that it gave you the opportunity to be part of the people to be selected. Or even if you walked in alone, out of that reference, yes. But so long as you have acted in a way that is inconsistent with the organizational culture, organizational policy, rules and regulation, you will be treated like any other employee of the organization. And if it deserves, your action deserves a consequence, that is to say, let's dismiss you or whatever, yes, You have to go through that. And I've had that situations and I've dealt with situations like that. And I did not feel guilty about it just because somebody, referred you to me. In fact, what happens is that whenever that happens, you, that individual, you have actually brought a lot of disgrace and dishonor to the person who was your referee. And so, yes, I have dealt with situations like that.
Okay, Doc Stella, please, I have to come in right now. 𝐀𝐝𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬 says that, Doc, some staff always shy away when they are given the opportunity to speak or contribute at a meeting or occasion. As how do we help these young ones to come out of their shyness and fear when they have that potential?
All right. So what I think Ajua who is saying this, but because it is true, and I mean she's right. But you see, as HR practitioners and as leaders in our various organizations, we need to have a certain kind of overview of our organization. We need to know what kind of skills that we are looking for, and we need to build a certain culture that supports people's career growth. One of the things that we need to do is to preempt situations. We need to appreciate the fact that it's not everybody who is going to have those skills. And so let us build training programs and invest in the people, especially those, as you say, who seem to have certain potential, but they lack public speaking, they lack, communication skills, they lack the boldness, to do the things that they have to do. Design or work with institutions like SEDAT, etc., who can design programs that will support the training of your people in these areas. Now, you need to understand as HR people that the technical skills are very key. They are the core skills. But to be able to move up the career ladder, you need your power skills, what we used to call the soft skills. They are now called power skills, and because they are more powerful. And because when you don't have them, you cannot move up. And so, one, training is important. Number two, the training may sometimes be just giving the people the opportunity and allowing them to make the mistakes. Start them gradually. Maybe a small departmental meeting. Ask them to make a certain presentation. They may want to shy away. They stand there and they are fidgeting. You take note of all those, but because it's within that smaller circle, you give them the feedback afterwards. And then you start working them towards doing it. So practice then makes people perfect. And they are now able to stand on any platform and do what they have to do. Sometimes it is the culture of the organization that doesn't allow such people to even speak up. They may have the skill to speak up. They may have that boldness to speak up, but they have been cowed down by the culture. A culture where, we look at people and give respect to people just based on generation or age, where we do not want, the younger people to have a voice because we think they are young, where we think that the experience is only about the length of service and not about certain, potential that people have. When you build a culture of fear and intimidation, you will get people cowed down, and the talents that you have will be talents who will not be able to express themselves. So you need to look at the organizational culture that you built. You need to look at the issues of feedback. You need to give people the chance to make certain mistakes that will not bring the world to an end, but mistakes that can be corrected and mistakes that they can, learn from, and mistakes that will help you to actually know what their gaps are. And you as the leader support them, whether you can support them personally or through mentorship, through coaching, or through using external support in training, etc., or giving them more work within that space that they are not very strong, to help them practice till they become, perfect. I have had situations where in building people up, people in my team, what I do is that if I have to make a certain presentation in the boardroom, I make sure that at a certain point, I allow some of the younger people, or, younger not only in age, but sometimes even in experience, and I'll give you the topic and I say, this is the topic that I'm going to present as a department, but I will want you to do it. So you are going to go with me. Sometimes you let them go, you do it, and they see how you are doing it. Then the time comes when I tell you, I'm going to, so go and prepare your slides around this topic. And then I will put you in my office with, maybe maybe a couple of people within the team and say that present to us. And then we start asking you questions, we build your confidence, you realize that these are some of the potential questions that can be asked. And then you build yourself and you reshape your presentation. When we get to the boardroom, I will always tell them before we get there that, look, when we get there, the questions that will come, if I realize that any question is coming and I can imagine that it's a tough question and it's going to be to displace you, I will quickly step in and answer that question for you. And so when I step in, know that I'm doing it to support you. And they become so confident. They speak and they have, they just try to catch a glimpse of you because they know you are there for them. These are some of the things that you can do to practically support people, to build their confidence, especially their public speaking their mind, sharing their opinions, and still, growing themselves as part of the team, valuable part of the team. I hope, Ajua, that answers your question.
Yes, Ajua is okay with that. She actually said as HR, so you responded directly. So my co-host will give us the last question. George, please go ahead. Emmanuel, please go ahead.
All right, Doc, please, my last question will be, I think you've been in the profession for quite a longer period. Please, I'd like to know something that probably has been on my heart that probably you can share with us all. Was there a time that you really underestimated a relationship that later in your career you realized that such relationship would have been profitable to your career?
I think so, but not really in that form. But one thing that I do is I do a lot of introspection. So from time to time, I kind of speak to myself, and I try to look at people within my space and say what everybody is kind of contributing to my career progress and what I am contributing or bringing to the table. And so at times when I realize that, look, no, I think if I lose this kind of relationship, it might not augur well for me, or perhaps I misunderstood this person, I will find a way of coming back to connect. If, for instance, I've disconnected, I'll find a way of coming back to connect. And one of the things that I do is that I'm quite affable, I'm very open, and I like to build relationship beyond just being transactional. When I get into a network and build relationship, I don't just be there as a passive spectator. I don't just like to be counted as part of the statistics. I like to be an active participant in there. And so when I feel that something is not going right, perhaps because of the way some differences in personality, etc., and I know that this is beneficial. In fact, sometimes not because you even know it's beneficial, but there are times that you feel that why should I disconnect with this person? I think everybody at one time in the other or the other will be very, very important to somebody, and therefore I'll find a way of connecting. And one of the things that I do, again, as a person, as my personality, I've talked about affability. I like to know people by name. And I like to call people by name. So, and I like to, sometimes you see that this person is actually pushing herself or himself away from you. But if I think that's important that I connect with you, not necessarily because of a benefit today, but I just feel that I should connect with you, I'll come around, I'll just put my hand around your neck, I'll call you Emmanuel. And, at that point, it is said that the sweetest sound in everybody's ears is his or her name. I mean, you are likely to turn. You are likely to say, what is it? And I'll say, yeah, what is it? Why, I'm right here. It's something that really helped build bridges instead of break bridges. And so I've had all kinds of situations. We don't have time, but I've been doing this for the past, I finished my first degree in 1986. So that's close to 40 years ago. And I've been working in different industries, in different positions, in different technical areas. I mean, I have changed jobs a number of times. I have moved up. I have, everything. And so I've seen a lot and I've seen all kinds of people. But I tell you that by God's grace and by the kind of personality I have, I will say that I don't want to say 100% because that may be, ideal, but maybe about 99% or more of the people that I've worked with right from my early career days to now are still my friends, are still connected. I'm still connected to them, or they are connected to me. And anytime that, both ways we need support, we go to each other. And for me, that is the beauty of relationship. And I will, I will not try to break it unless that relationship is really toxic. If it is toxic and it's not helping you, it can be broken. But not broken to the point of beyond, redemption, but broken to the point of knowing at what the barriers should be. And barriers are important in such things. I mean, out of my work, I will always say that I lost a very good friend. Lost in the sense that we kind of lost the luster of the relationship. It was a deep-seated relationship that, we were like sisters. But this was a situation where at a certain point when I had been moved up my career, people wanted to use this friend to actually create a lot of problems. And they tried to make the friend feel that if I don't share confidential information with her, because people wanted to know a lot of information from me because of where I sit. And I am not that kind of person. I am able to keep communication. And therefore, they tried to use her. And, so they made her feel that. And she very genuinely said, look, when it comes to Stella and her job and, some of the key confidential things, there's nothing about that we discuss. But, people made her feel that, if she doesn't discuss her confidential work issues with you, that means she doesn't trust you. And that really disturbed her. And she felt that, well, then if there was no trust, she started pushing herself away. When I realized that what she was doing was trying to please other people by getting information from me, our relationship, the gap got, widened. But somehow that was good because I would prefer to keep a reputation than to keep a toxic relationship. But generally, I would say that I like to connect, and that has really supported me in my career always.
Okay, thank you very much, Mommy. Mommy, please, any last words, any side business you are doing, any trainings you've been doing? I know you have your book. I have your book here. And guess if you have your book here. So you can.
Okay, you have the book. That is very right. So
yeah. So tell us.
Yeah. Okay, a bit about that. So the book, those who haven't bought, please try and buy it. It's just 100 cedis, and it is 100 career nuggets, keeping it punchy. And these 100 career nuggets are nuggets that, are coming from my work experience, my life experiences, anything and everything that has supported me in building my career up to this point. And I've shared those experiences in the book, and each nugget, I try to give a little write-up so that you understand, very punchy, straight to the point, something that can help you also develop your career, how you build your brand, how you communicate, how you can leave a legacy behind, how to build your network, knowing who you are, how you do your personal SWOT so that you can know what value you bring to the table. I mean, a host of them. What you do for the organization to keep wanting you, why should you be the star, and how do you sustain, being at the top there. All kinds of, nuggets are in that book, and you can find them for just 100 cedis. But my last words, I never seem to have last words because I always wish to, but yes, it's basically to say that please be ready to learn across the business. Be ready to learn within your network.
Mommy, before your last words, this is important. Someone says, what are your expectations for the next breed of HR professionals?
For the next group of HR professionals, my expectation is that we move from being transactional HR people to strategic HR people. We move from being HR people who that HR doesn't have the seat at the table, HR is not giving its rightful place, to the HR people who will use strategy, HR strategy, and understanding of the business, the mandate of the business, and what the business does, to be able to bring HR as the center, so that when we talk about HR being at the table, they will find you useful sitting at the table, because HR will not just be speaking about HR as it will, but we'll be speaking about strategy. We'll be using data and analytics, and still bringing our emotional parts of the people. Our heart will still be with the people, but we will seek, approvals. We will seek, policies based on data and how that data supports whatever, is on the ground. Build a culture that HR is at the center. Let us live our values as HR people and not just pretend and push the blame elsewhere. Let us hold the stake, because for me, when we have the stick and we have the carrot and we use them appropriately, HR will forever be useful. And I mean, my passion for HR is to see the next generation HR even surpassing what we have done, so that we can continue to keep HR aflame.
Okay,
Thank
you very much. And that was Dr. Stella Agyenim Boateng. I hope I didn't murder your name anymore.
Agyenim, Agyenim Boateng.
Okay. And my co-host, 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 Emmanuel. Okay. So today's HR Digest was brought to you by Emmanuel, myself, Lady Winifred 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐻, and Emmanuel Duncan, our co-host. Thank you very much.
The 7th HR Conference 2026 is here. Western Region, are you ready? Join us on Thursday, 26th March 2026 at the prestigious Western Serene Atlantic Hotel in Takoradi for the 5th edition of the 7th HR Conference. This year's theme, authentic employer branding, purpose, people, and public trust. Hear from seasoned industry leaders including Felicia Opoku-Felicia, Head of HR and Administration, Taka Ghana, Kwame Afre, HR Manager, Talu Ghana Limited, and Mami 𝐀𝐝𝐦𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 Minister, Honorable Joseph Nelson, and our special guest of honor, Nana Kobena Nketia V, Omanhinin of Isikado, traditional area and president of the Western Regional House of Chiefs. Are you a CEO, HR professional, business owner, marketing or branding executive, corporate communication executive, or corporate leader? Then this conference is for you. Registration is open. In-person participation, 1,550 Ghana cedis. Virtual participation, 1,250 Ghana cedis. To register, visit HR Conference at SEDATConsultLimited.com or call 0591405555. Transform your workplace, strengthen your people strategy, and lead with impact. The SEDAT HR Conference 2026 is brought to you by SEDAT Consult Limited in partnership with Western Serene Atlantic Hotel, Good News FM, Cambridge College of Excellence, Revia, My Health Co, HR Network Africa, and SHRP. Limited seats are available. Register today. See you there.